Hello and welcome to my channel, bienvenidos. Today I wanted to do a cooking video with you guys and show you how I make my southern mac and cheese. This in the beginning for me was a struggle. I tried so many different recipes and I just couldn't get it down, and I finally found the right combination of things that I feel like gets a really nice taste. It has nice flavor, but it's not like overly complicated or anything like that. It's super easy to follow, so I thought I would share it with you guys in today's video. I don't know if I've ever done like a dedicated cooking, or I might have, so it'll be a little different for my channel. I share a lot of my food stuff on my Instagram and my Insta stories mainly, but on here I think, you know, having a full-on video would be nice, just so you can always come back and like rewatch it whenever you want to make it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this southern mac and cheese. Okay, so I have all my ingredients sitting back here on this counter. You are going to need a bag. You can buy a 16-ounce bag, or you can buy a 32-ounce bag and use half of it. I have some left over from the last time that I made it, so I'm going to use half of this 32-ounce bag. I'll have the ingredients exactly how I do it in the description box too, so it's easy to follow. But you will need 16 ounces of large elbow pasta. To add flavor, I'm using coarse kosher salt. I'm using pepper, and I'm also using some garlic powder. 3 12 fluid ounce cans of evaporated milk. Not condensed milk, not regular milk. This honestly is the best that I've used so far. The brand I use is this Carnation brand, so we have 3 of those. And then I also am going to use some eggs, 3 eggs. So I'm going to set this down here. About 1.5 sticks of salted butter, and then some cheese. You can of course use whatever cheese that you want. I think the best flavor is sharp cheddar, Colby Jack. I have done Velveeta as well, and that adds a nice flavor. I don't have any, and I wasn't not about to go to the grocery store right now, so I'm just gonna use sharp cheddar and Colby Jack cheese. I have them in the bag. A lot of people say that it's easier when you, it tastes better when you get the block cheese and you shred it yourself. We are trying to do the quick and easy way. We are in the middle of a pandemic, literally, while I'm filming this video. A lot of us are tired of cooking, and we're trying to cook as fast and easy as possible, so I just picked up the bags. I have also done it with the block cheese and took my time and shredded the cheese and everything. It tastes good as well. It tastes good with the bag cheese as well. And then of course you are going to need something to put your mac and cheese in afterwards, and a bowl to mix all of your stuff. I have a huge bowl that I got from Walmart. Let me show you. See, I have this huge aluminum bowl that I use to mix the mac and cheese with cheese and all of that. Strainer, and then I'm going to boil my pasta. So that's pretty much everything you're gonna need. And of course some water to boil the pasta in. Before it starts boiling, I am going to add some salt and some butter, just because whatever you cook your noodles in is what is going to give it flavor. What you can also do that I almost wish I would have done here is use chicken stock instead of using water, because it adds a lot of flavor to the noodles as well. That is definitely something that I would recommend to use instead of water. But if you let's say you're home and you don't have any chicken stock, you can do what I'm doing and just do water, add some salt, a little bit of butter, and that's also going to give it some flavor. So I'm doing like 1 teaspoon of salt, more or less, depending on how you want it to taste. You can add more. I usually do a little more. And then a tablespoon of butter. Boom. So we're gonna let that boil, do the thing, and then we are going to add our noodles. While this boils, we can go ahead and start adding the stuff to the aluminum pan, just to make it even faster. This side of my stove isn't hot, so I'm just going to place this right here so we can get a nice visual. So I'm going to add my cheeses. Now you want to make sure you leave some cheese for the end, because you want to have cheese to sprinkle it on top of your mac and cheese once it's ready to go in the oven. So I'll show you just about how much I'm adding. So this is the Colby Jack. And I'm pretty much putting almost the entire bag, and I'm leaving about, I'm gonna leave a little more, about that much of the bag to sprinkle it And depending on how cheesy you want it too, you can get more bags. I just find that this is like the best. I've also tried like extra sharp cheddar. I've tried other like mild cheddar, and it just does not taste the same. Since I have 2 bags of the sharp cheddar, I'm gonna put a whole bag in here, mix it up with the Colby Jack. And I should probably start my oven. You're gonna need to put your oven on 365. Yeah, that's fine. 365, 375. And then I'm going to leave, like I said, about half of this cheese. A little less than half. So we have this cheese right here left on the side to sprinkle on top. So we're just gonna put that over there. I'm cracking my 3 eggs in a bowl and mixing these separately before I put them in there, just so they're nice and like whisked and mixed beforehand, because it's gonna be a little harder to do it if you don't do them in a bowl before. Once you whisk your 3 eggs, you can go ahead and pour it into the cheese. I know it looks kind of gross, but I promise you it's gonna come out super good. We are going to add a stick and a half of butter into this, but I'm gonna wait until we get a little closer to the noodles being done, because I am going to have to kind of melt the butter so it melts easily in with everything. But I don't want it to start doing that until the noodles are almost done. In the meantime though, I am going to add garlic powder and pepper to the cheese and egg that we have going on here. And then sprinkling all of that with garlic powder. And I put quite a bit of that. So this is what it's gonna look like once it's all in there. It looks gross, it looks like a lot of pepper, but I promise you, once you mix it all up, the taste is gonna be really good. And it's a lot of pasta too, if you think about it. So we're gonna let this kind of chill for a little bit. The water is starting to boil, so I'm going to add my noodles, again, 16 ounces. And I'm going to leave the noodles in here for about, I want to say like 5 to 7 minutes is good. Just so it starts to get a little soft, but I don't want to cook them too much. So I'm just mixing it so that the salt and the butter can disperse throughout all of the noodles. Now, while that's in there, we can start to melt the butter. Let me grab a bowl real quick. And another like 1/4 to a half, depending on how buttery you want your mac and cheese to be. Put it in the microwave for a few seconds until you kind of see it start to melt. Mine was almost like 30 seconds. See how it's nice and melted, but not fully melted. And you do want to occasionally stir your pasta because it starts to get stuck together and clump up, and you don't want it to do that. So just kind of mix it every here and there. We can add our butter over top of all of the cheese, pepper, eggs, garlic powder. Some people ask me how I keep my kitchen clean while I'm cooking, and the key is to throw everything in the dishwasher as you finish using it. It just makes the cleanup process so much easier. The noodles are expanding. We're getting there. We're getting closer and closer. So let's have these cans ready to go. I want to shake it first. I think that's good. So I'm going to turn it off. And then you do want to drain out the water as well. Okay, so the first half is drained. We're going to throw that into the bowl. Let me do the second half. Second half, right in there. If you have a big strainer, you don't have to do it in halves. Mine's just a little smaller. We'll put that in the dishwasher later. And once that's in there, you can put in your evaporated milk. Just like that. There's one. Two. And three. Once this is all in there and you mix it all together, obviously the flavor is going to just mesh perfectly. The garlic, let me kind of tilt it so you can see as I'm mixing. You're gonna see the cheese come up and the cheese is slowly melting. The pepper's in there, you can smell the garlic. Ugh, so bomb. And then obviously the egg is gonna get nice and mixed in there as well the more you keep mixing, and the butter too. I wish I had a second camera up here like those professional food people so you guys can see a different angle, but you guys can see from there, right? I'm mixing it. The more cooking videos I do, if you guys end up enjoying this one, maybe I'll get some better equipment to give you guys all the angles, but yeah, it's all nice and melted. And once you mix it, if you see like, okay, maybe I want a little bit more pepper in there, I don't see as much pepper, you can add more. We did put quite a bit though, so you probably won't need to, but it just depends, of course, to each their own. I am going to do a little bit of garlic powder just on top, a little tiny bit. And after that, you really don't need anything else except for the cheese you're gonna put on top. Everything else is pretty much done. See how that's all nice and melted, and now we can get it ready to put into the oven. This should all fit in here. The last time I made it, it did fit in here. This, I got it from Walmart, believe it or not, this cute little tray. Yep, fits perfectly. Literally the perfect amount. And for the fun part is sprinkling the rest of your cheese on top. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. One more ingredient that you're going to need, paprika. This is totally optional. It's more so to add color to the mac and cheese once you go ahead and finish it off, because paprika doesn't really have a taste to it, but it does give it a nice color. So I'm just putting the sharp cheddar cheese on top first. Making sure it kind of gets all around there. If I can find this tray online, I'll try to link it for you guys, because literally with the recipe I have, the perfect amount, and it feeds like a lot. I'm actually going to cut this up in different like little pieces and drive by and drop some off to my family members, because it's a lot for me, obviously. Just like that, it's ready to go into the oven. So let's put it in here, and I'm gonna put it in here for about like 40 minutes. You just check on it, 40-45 minutes, kind of check on it. Once it starts browning at the top, then it's like pretty much ready. So for now, let's do 40 minutes. So while that bakes, you can just kind of like clean up, or if you're just making this as a side dish and you have other things to cook, that's out of the way. You have 40 minutes to kind of get everything else done. I don't know what I'm talking about. I forgot to add the paprika. Hold on. See? Cut me some slack, you guys. It's my first official little cooking video. So you're gonna just sprinkle some paprika on top just to give it some color. Again, this doesn't add much of a flavor to it, but it gives it that nice little tone. Okay, Now you can pop it in there and forget about it for 40 minutes. Okay, the mac and cheese is out of the oven. You can see it has a nice brown, crispy layer on top. I'll give you guys a little close-up so you can see. It was sizzling a little bit and it's pretty much ready. I am going to let it cool for about 15 minutes just so it can obviously like cool down. You definitely want to make sure you leave it in the oven long enough for it to get that brown and crispy layer, because that's what's going to give it that crunch. But right now when it cools down, I'll go ahead and start to cut it up so you can see what the inside consistency of the mac and cheese looks like. I'm cutting this out for family, so I just want to kind of take some out so you can see what it looks like. And just like that, you have nice, creamy, crunchy, and cheesy mac and cheese. And there you go. That's how I make my version of Southern baked mac and cheese. Of course, there are different ways to make it. Some people do like the cheese sauce on the side. Some people don't do a cheese sauce. Some people do different cheeses, etc. But you can pretty much make it however you want it to come out. But this is how I do it. I hope you enjoyed. All of the ingredients, measurements, and everything will be below. If you decide to make your mac and cheese exactly how I did, make sure to tag me on my Instagram so I can repost you on my story and let me know how you liked it. Even if you have tried making Southern mac and cheese and you end up trying it like this, let me know like if you have any tips, any pointers. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.